You've mentioned stacks a few times, and I'm glad you did because I'm a huge fan of stacks, and I've been unofficially plugging the coin because I can't give financial advice because I get sued. But I've been screaming about stacks for some time as well. Are there any other coins that you're seeing out there in the cryptoverse that would support the Bitcoin ecosystem?
I think there's actually a few coming down the line. For people who are interested in my research, you can go on my Twitter profile and click my link in my profile to my Christian investment analysis. That's a company that I've been doing since 2017. You can follow my research. You can follow my portfolio and my general thesis. You can also reach out to me and schedule a call. I can help you as much as I can because education and community is the most important thing in this industry. But yes, without naming off a list of tokens, there are some other altcoins that are in existence and that will be coming into existence in the near future that are being designed with a full understanding that they are not money. They're also not a security. They're not a security, but they're not money. But they exist to complement Bitcoin. They exist to evolve Bitcoin from digital gold to digital collateral. And I think Stacks is just a great starting place. If you can start at, and the reason I say start at Stacks is because of the proof of transfer algorithm. That's what's amazing here about this algorithm. Like, I have never seen something I was excited about Ethereum. Like, when I learned about Bitcoin, I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it sucked me in and it changed my life. And then when I learned about Ethereum, same thing happened. It sucked me in. And then, the price discovery, it changed my life. But since then, over the course of the last 10 years, I haven't really had that experience in all of my altcoins. I haven't really had the ability to see the type of potential that I see in Stacks because of this proof of transfer. The way that it works is when you stack your Ethereum or even Cardano or a lot of these other staking coins like DOT, when you stake these coins, you're getting paid an APY, and that is actually that's a misnomer because that's not yield, that's inflation, right? The new tokens are being created, so if you're not staking, you're actually being diluted, right? So we want to get into ecosystems that where if you're staking, there's some type of mechanism where the staking is not actually diluting people who are not staking, because that means we're not talking about inflation being used to pay the yield. We're talking about some type of different mechanism that generates a sustainable yield. And when it comes to stacks and proof of transfer, what's so interesting is that when you stack your stacks, you'll bid Bitcoin to win the stacks block. And all of that Bitcoin is aggregated together and it's awarded to the person who finds the stacks block. So in a way, the value of stacks is almost a derivative of the value of Bitcoin. What do I mean by that? Well, there's three ways you can buy Bitcoin. You can buy land, energy, and equipment, and you can mine Bitcoin. So you can trade electricity for it. You can buy it straight up from the marketplace, or you can earn it with stacks. So we see Bitcoin performing really well. We see stacks performing really well. Why? I believe the fundamental value of stacks is tied to Bitcoin because when I own stacks, I earn Bitcoin. And when the value of the Bitcoin is going up that I earn, that means the value of my stacks is going up because the more stacks I have, the more Bitcoin I earn. So in a way, the fundamental value of stacks is a derivative of Bitcoin value because of proof of transfer. I think proof of transfer is going to become a household name, just like people know proof of work and proof of stake. Proof of transfer is the next algorithm that that's going to become mainstream because it produces a sustainable yield with a base layer money, which ties the fundamental value of that ecosystem's token into it. Plus, it offers all of that smart contract capability with Bitcoin security and transaction finality. It check marks all three things. So yes, there are some other tokens that interest me, and there are some other tokens that I own. But when it comes to what I'm most interested in and just like kind of mind blown and learning about it every single day and continuing to become more and more bullish on it because of its design and because of all these additional mechanisms that that you really just don't understand until you actually start to do it. You know, you asked me earlier, how do you know all this? Because I'm doing it. Because I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm putting it on the line, and I'm learning through failures. I'm learning through yields. I'm learning through processes. Proof of transfer is a big deal. Don't sleep on proof of transfer. This is a big deal for the entire industry. The industry is just a couple steps behind, just like the mainstream is talking about digital gold and we're talking about building digital collateral. They are, you know, proof of work is, they're still fighting against proof of work. They're still, we talked about it earlier, how it's more green than anything that they've ever come up with, and they're still fighting against it. So once they understand proof of work, maybe then they'll finally understand proof of transfer. But people should not be sleeping on proof of transfer. The fundamental value of stacks is derived from the value of Bitcoin. And as the price of Bitcoin continues to go up, I'm willing to pay a higher price for my stacks because I can stake my stacks and earn Bitcoin with it. It's one of 3 ways in the world that you can actually buy Bitcoin. And that to me is just nothing else. Nothing else is really of interest to me because of this proof of transfer. I really do believe it is that groundbreaking of an advancement in the industry.
Steve JR, longtime crypto brother out there, has asked, will Bitcoin DeFi be the change we have been waiting for to borrow against the most pristine finite asset in human history?
Absolutely. I think this is, so the biggest opportunity, right? We talked about concentration versus diversification. Instead of going out there and getting Ripple and Cardano and Avalanche and Solana and all these other coins that have already gone hundreds of X's, I think the real opportunity coming into this cycle is Stacks DeFi. Because when you look at Ether, and Ether DeFi was an amazing experience. That's actually where I had my epiphany for my company, People's Reserve. When I was going through wrapping Bitcoin, all these ideas started, you know, well, why can't I wrap this? And why can't I wrap this? And if I wrap this, can I do that? Like all these different ideas were coming to me. And that all came because of the because of the DeFi expansion on Ethereum. Now, yeah, that's a good one. Now,
CJ, I'll just read it to everyone in case, because I got some audio listeners. CJ knows Bitcoin so much, even Craig Wright calls him Satoshi. Sorry to break the chain there.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Now, what's going to happen is, I think the same thing we saw in Ethereum DeFi. So we saw the build out of automated market makers, different types of liquidity pools, oracles, a whole bunch of different types of services that were there to facilitate this decentralized finance marketplace. All of that is actually going to need to be rebuilt on Stacks. So I fully anticipate, if you were here in 2018 and 2019, the summer of DeFi, where, I mean, coins were popping off 2, 3, 500x, like in the matter of just a quarter of 2. Like that is what I see coming on Stacks and Bitcoin L2s. I do think Bitcoin DeFi is going to produce another DeFi explosion, but this ecosystem will not be built on Ethereum. It will be built as Bitcoin L2s. And that, to me, you know, if we're concentrated on Bitcoin and we want to go out the risk curve just a little bit, but stay concentrated on Bitcoin, L2 Bitcoin DeFi is where we're going to see an absolute explosion of liquidity, an explosion of valuations. And to me, by far, the opportunity lies within those ecosystems more so than any of the other existing ecosystems.